Why, hello there. Today we are going to be talking about why parents and families are not showing up to your PTO meetings and events and exactly how to put an end to that. So if we haven't met before, and if this is your first time on the live stream, I'm Christina Heideck. I am the leader here in the PTA PTO Superstar Leader Group. I am also a total PTA volunteer nerd. And like I said, if this is the first time you've ever joined me for a live stream, I do these every week, every Wednesday, about 1 o'clock I cover different topics, all hot topics that you need to know as a PTA or a PTO leader. So I'm just gonna jump right into the content today and get right down to it. So has this ever happened to you where you plan an event and you think it's going to be like a really awesome event because you've been working on it for months, but then the event comes and you have like 5 parents show up or 5 families show up, and you have a lot more families in the school than that. So you're kind of like wondering, like, what the heck happened? Or maybe, and I know this happens with most PTOs, maybe no parents outside of the officers and committee chairs show up to your meetings. Like, has this ever happened to you? If you can resonate with that, with either of those two things, of one, like parents just not coming to your meetings, or 2, you planning events and people not showing up, like, go ahead and type in a 1 and just to let me know. And if you don't have this problem, then type in a 10, because obviously you're a superstar, rock star, and you don't really need to be watching this. But I have a guess, and that is that most of y'all are going to be at like a 1 or a 2. Like, it even happens to me when I run events sometimes. And there are a whole bunch of reasons why people might not be showing up, but I today want to cover like the ones that I think are the most common. And the good news is that even though it's really common and it's really easy to make this huge mistake, it's also really easy to fix it and to turn around just like that. So don't be overwhelmed, or don't feel like, oh my God, Christine, you're gonna tell me something and I'm not gonna be able to do it for whatever lame reason. No, you're gonna be able to do this. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, if you don't have people coming to your events, you need to figure out why they're not finding out about it, because you're planning these awesome events, right? Like, who wouldn't want to come to a carnival? Who wouldn't want to come to movie night? You know, especially if it's like a free family fun event that all they have to do is show up and you're going to entertain their family for 3 hours for free. I mean, come on, who doesn't want to come to that? But I'm guessing like one of the huge reasons why they're not coming is that they don't know about it. They didn't hear about it. You're not reaching them in the way that they need to be communicated with. So you need to change that. So first, you need to be like super clear on what the event is. You need to be clear on the place and the time. So I'm going to give you a little example of one time that this was an issue for me. So every year for years, my kids' lower elementary school has been having a spring carnival, and the carnival was so big that we couldn't have it at the school itself. We had to have it at the high school. And so we would put on everything like, it's going to be at the high school. Like, do not come to the school. It's not going to be at the elementary school. It's going to be at the high school, like on everything. But we always had to put up an extra sign at the school the day of the event to be like, yo, carnival is at the high school. It is not here. Because we would always have parents going to the wrong places because they're busy, they're not paying attention, and they're not reading it, even if you do put it out a million places. But one of the biggest mistakes that I find most PTOs make is that they're not putting it out a million places. They're saying it once or twice and expecting people just to be like on the same wavelength that they are, and expecting them to show up for events and meetings, but they're not, because they didn't know about it. Like, it's just not, they're not primed to get that information. So they're not like looking for it. So you really have to tell them like multiple times about events, and you have to be like super clear. It's one of the reasons why I always recommend that PTO meetings are held on like a consistent schedule. that's the same. So you could say it's the first Thursday of the month. So parents don't have to worry about like, wait, it's March. Wait, tomorrow's March. Like, when is the PTA meeting? So my PTA meeting for one of my groups happens to be tomorrow night. My husband was like, "Are you sure it's tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's the first Thursday of the month." He goes, "But it's the first of the month." I go, "It doesn't matter. It's on the first Thursday of the month." And so there was no question, and I knew I was right because it's always been on that date and it's never a problem. But if it had been like something weird, like the first full Thursday of the month, or if some groups have meetings that like jump around each month, and I think it's super confusing. So totally don't do that. So be clear on what the event is. Is it kid friendly? Can you bring people to, or not bring people to, but bring your kids to events? Especially if it's going to be something like fundraising related. Parent volunteers are parents and they have kids. And if they're at an elementary school, they're going to be younger kids, right? So they need to know whether or not they can bring their kids to things. You also need to be clear on, like I said, where it is and the time. So like legit, the basic logistics of things need to be super clear. You also need to be clear on the actual time commitment. Like, I don't know about you, but if someone goes, yeah, show up about 1:00 and we'll be done when we're done. Like that doesn't fit into my schedule. I need to know whether or not I actually have time, because I never feel comfortable leaving early. And I really like to see whatever job I finish completed. So I'm not one to leave, even if it puts me into kind of time crunch later. So make sure to tell parents, like, you'll just be there for 2 hours. Just be like really clear and just tell them like legit whatever it is, just so they know. Because even if you do have those parents who stay and they say, "Oh no, it's fine," dude, they might be telling that to your face, but they're never going to come back, because they're going to be like, "Last time my whole day got hijacked by the stupid PTO." And that is exactly what they're going to be thinking. And that's exactly what they're going to tell their girlfriend who didn't bother to come and volunteer. So you lost multiple volunteers that way. So don't do that. Be really clear on the time commitments. All right. So the other thing I wanted to say is that there are 1,000,001 different ways to get to parents. And if you're really stuck on different ways to communicate with parents, then you really need to go and download my free resource. You can find that at bit.ly. I can never spell it. It's bit.ly/PTO or /PTO tools. So that'll list out some really out of the box ideas that maybe you haven't thought of before on like how to communicate with parents. Like I said, it's free. So go ahead and get it right now. Or after you're done watching the video, and it's bit.ly/PTO tools. So go ahead and get that, because that'll really help you with ideas for how to reach out to families and communicate with them. Like I said, more than what you've probably thought of, and more than just the traditional suggestions of Remind 101, or it's just called now Remind, or Class Dojo, or using your school's email system, or putting it up on the school marquee. Like, yes, you should be doing those things, but you should also be looking at other alternatives too, because the more places that you're hitting parents with the information, the more they're going to see it potentially, and the more times they see it, they're more likely to act upon it, because they'll hear about it and know in advance, and it won't be like a last minute game day decision sort of thing. So, so definitely go and get that free resource. So like I said, the best way to communicate with parents so that they can show up to your events is to tell them more than once. So you want to be, I mentioned Remind, some other resources that you may or may not be taking advantage of, but they're all free except for time. So I highly suggest that you take advantage of these things. Is going to the teachers and saying, "Hey teachers, can you remind your parents about the upcoming PTO event, or about the daddy-daughter dance that's in 2 weeks?" You can also remind people in person. One of my most favorite I can't talk today. One of my most favorite principals, she actually wore a sandwich board in the car line for multiple days in a row to promote our school carnival. And she was like an awesome sport about that. I don't know if you have a principal that's willing to do that, but maybe you have a teacher or a parent that would be willing to do that, because yeah, that'll get some parents' attentions. And even the kids who are passing by the car line in the bus will see the principal and be like, hey, she was wearing something. We should like look at that and try and figure out how we get there and how we get involved with that. A couple other resources that I didn't list in the parent engagement toolkit, but I wanted to mention because this is one that I thought of, like, why aren't I using this? And that's the city newsletter. So my city sends out a weekly e-newsletter, so it's free for them. And I was like, why aren't I submitting events to them? So the next time I do have an event, you bet your bottom I'm going to submit it, because it's in their best interest to get this information out to the community to say, hey, here's what's going on in your public schools. Like, I'm sure that they would want to support us, because we all kind of help each other when you have healthy schools and healthy communities and everything is happy and great. Another idea, and I did mention this in the free resource, but I don't think I really went into the specifics of it, is if your group does not have a Google Calendar that parents can subscribe to and that automatically imports dates into, you want to look at doing that and getting one set up right away, because it's really awesome. They subscribe once and then forever your group's information just shows up on their calendar. So they'll see, hey, there is a PTO meeting tonight. Oh, maybe I'll go to that. But again, if they don't know about it, then they're totally not going to be able to go. They just won't show up. I wrote some other notes here. Let me just look at right here. And I don't see anybody with a question. So if you have a question, go ahead, about communicating with parents, go ahead and pop it in the comments. Caroline. So let me just run down some of the things that I wrote down here. So you need to be, or maybe to also sum it up. So you need to be communicating with parents on multiple channels. You can't just send home a flyer or put a single post on Facebook and expect people are going to respond to that. Parents are dealing with so much information right now, and it can kind of be overload. But you really kind of need to rise to the top. And so that your group's information is constantly being seen by parents, so that they know what's coming up, and that so that they can make arrangements to attend or participate. So you want to be sending them emails. So again, either through your school system, or if you can get the email list from your school and send it out through an email system, that is awesome. Use Remind. So either use it for your group or have the school do it for you. For my the junior high PTA, our principal and office administrator are so stinking awesome. Anything we want to send out, they will just send it out to us multiple times, or send it out for us on Remind. So like, we just had a fundraiser at Moe's on Friday, and they sent it out on Remind, and then also sent an email to everybody. So it really hit parents at multiple places. And so I'm really anxious to see how the fundraiser went, because Moe's gave a very nice percentage back. They gave like 50% back, which is really high for a Dining for Dollars event. So I'm really excited about that, but that's like hashtag side note right there. So emailing Remind, asking teachers, say, hey, have your kids write this down in the planner at the end of the day about whatever event is coming up. You can send stickers home on kids. This is one I actually came up with and did at the elementary school for I did it for PTA meetings, and I did it for the school carnival because that was a major fundraiser for us. So I got little Avery printable labels, and I made a template, and then I took it to school, and I got the laser printers, and I just copied the template. So I just designed it in Word or Pages or whatever. And then I printed them out onto the stickers, and then I cut the stickers into smaller pieces to make it more cost efficient, because they're like mailing labels. That's what I was using as stickers, because I don't I didn't want to buy like a gajillion, 5,000 pre-printed stickers. I just didn't have the budget for this. But this was like a $40 investment in the labels, got us stickers for a year and a half. So that's not bad at all, right? 20 bucks or 30 bucks a year or whatever it was. So I got the big mailing labels, like the ones that are this big. And so I could fit 3 to a sheet. And then we would not stick them on ourselves at the end of the day, but we would ask the teachers to do it. And so we said, this is how you can help back, give back and help us, is help promote the PTA meetings and the carnival. So it worked really well, because the parents, of course, should be like looking at their kid at some point, and they're going to notice a big old white label on their shirt. So it worked for us really well. And so I just wanted to mention that. Let's see, of course, using Facebook. And maybe, this is something that's come up a couple times, and I really don't feel like doing a whole separate thing on it. So I'll just go into it right now. So a lot of times in a group, people will be like, hey, I need to set up a Facebook page or a Facebook group for our school. Like, what's the better option here? And, there are pros and cons for both, but I would say, hands down, your best option is to start a Facebook page, because there's way less maintenance that goes into running a page than it does for a Facebook group. So just real briefly, for a page, anybody can follow it. And yeah, you might get people who are not at your school and are following about school events. I'd say the likelihood of that is pretty slim. And even if they are following the events, then the likelihood of them actually showing up is even slimmer. And it really, the time involved of moderating a private group, like the one that you're in for the PTA and PTO superstars, like when people request to join, I have to look at every single one of those requests, and I make sure that they fit with the requirements of the group, because I don't let, fundraising companies come in to try and sell you guys stuff. You have to be a parent volunteer, and usually a leader of the group to get into the superstar group. So if you were to set up your PTA Facebook group instead of a page, then you would have to be taking the time to look at pretty much everybody's profile, because even when people answer my questions that I have to get into the group, I still go ahead and look at their profile and check out just to make sure that they're true, because anybody can type anything. So I do a little bit of investigation. And the last time I looked, we had almost 3,100 people in the group. That's a lot of time to go in and like maintain and just go through the process of checking everybody out. So you want to, that's why I just think it's fine. Like, nobody crazy has ever shown up to any one of my PTA events that I've been in charge of. And I only have the public groups, and it's never been a problem. So I think it'll probably be fine for you too. The other thing is that you can turn off commenting on a page, so that this happens every once in a while. You get a parent who has like a bee in their bonnet or a bee in their underwear, and they're just making a big old fuss. And usually it's something really small, but they feel like they're really going to show those mean PTO people, and they're going to make a mean old post for everybody to see on social media. Well, you can totally avoid that by just turning off public commenting and making it so an administrator has to approve the comments before they post. So even if the lady with their bee in her pants gets something, going on where she just feels like she needs to tell everybody off, only the administrators will see that. And so you can really limit it. So that's, again, why I would just have a Facebook page instead of a group. So, right. And then Sheila mentioned, she chimed in with, we hold our PTO meetings live on Facebook so they can join the meeting even if they can't get out of the house, which is an awesome idea, Sheila. So high five to you for your group thinking outside the box and thinking, really, how are we going to use current technology? And Kim chimed in, they're thinking about trying to use Facebook Live. I think it's great. And some of the people who have like privacy concerns, I don't know. You know, like in real life, I'm also a professional organizer. And so people always want to like black out all of their information on even their junk mail before recycling it. And I always ask, are you listed in the phone book? And they like will look at me and go, well, yeah. And I'm like, so tell me, why are you taking all of the time and the effort to knock off or black out your name when you're just, anybody can look you up. Like, and if they know that you live here, so what? Like, you have to be an additional level of crazy to do all this stuff. So I never worry about the privacy stuff too much. I'm like, I'm not a big privacy hawk. I just think that I'm not that important. And so yeah, I'm just not too, I'm okay with it, and I'm okay with the Facebook Live. And actually, I don't know whether I've shared this with you guys or not, but I'm going to be a PTA president once again next year for an upper elementary school. And our meeting attendance really sucks hard, the big one, for a couple different reasons. Some that I've shared with you today, and some I'll share another time. But I think I am going to try the Facebook Live too, because I think, why not? It makes it so much easier. And then parents can also, they don't even have to tune in live. If you save the recording as a video on your Facebook page, then parents can look at it whenever they have free, or if they don't have time to watch it, they can listen to it while they unload the dishwasher or they're doing laundry or something like that. So I think it's like fabulous. So looks like Sophia chimed in, and they've had some really good success with that. So yay for that. So looking forward to next week. I have my calendar right here. Ooh, that's right. I have all these pre-planned out, and then they like whiz out of my head because I have a million things going on this week, including a home renovation that is starting tomorrow. So that's why I'm a little frazzled today. But next week, let me tell you, we're going to be talking about family fun events that families are going to stink and freak over. Like, they're going to be so excited that you're doing these, they will have no choice but just to show up in droves. So I know you're not going to want to miss that. And I will say tentatively for 1 p.m. because, like I said, the guys are starting work tomorrow, and they're just going to be here for one day, and then they're going to come back next week. So we might have to bump this, but I'm going to try not to. But they said we can get loud, and I said that's okay. I said I have a bunch of moms who probably don't really care, but just to warn you, we might have to bump it. But yeah, I'm really excited for some of these ideas to share them with you, because they're pretty unique and out there and just overall fabulous. So, okay, I hope this has been super helpful for you, because I want people to be coming to your events for you. I don't want you to be, spending all this time planning all these events and then not have parents come for the simple reason that they didn't know about it. Like, in today's day and age, there's really no reason. There's all those different methods that I talked about on how to educate and just to highlight and promote your events. So I hope you take advantage of every single one of them. Oh, and my last thing is, you should definitely be having an event or a communications president to do all of those fabulous communication methods I talked to you about. Like, the president needs not one more thing to do, but you need a communications chair for that. So that is my parting wisdom to you. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you back here next week with a whole bunch of freaking awesome family fun events. So have a good one, and I will, the site, Kim, all right. She said, please share my site again regarding communication. So the download that you want is at bit.ly/PTO tools. And it's in the description for this video. And I will also respond to you as soon as I guess I can type it in right now. All right, so there, I've popped it in the comments, so we should be good. And it just popped up. Beautiful. So, all right, y'all have a good week. I'm going to stop talking now, and I will be back in the group. If you have any questions, I'll be in the group right now for the next 15, 20 minutes just to answer any other questions and just keep the conversation rolling. But I will see you next week. So take care. Bye-bye.